Emily, and today I'm here to bring you one of my favorite videos to film of the year, and that is my Nonfiction November TBR. And Nonfiction November, if you aren't aware, is a month-long reading initiative hosted by Olive over at A Book Olive, and I think this year she's being helped by Natalie of A Curious Reader, and you just have to read one nonfiction book for the month of November, and you're participating in Nonfiction November. But Olive always puts out 4 prompts for the reading initiative, and I picked out 4 books to go with those prompts, and then I've also got some other books I'm going to show you after that. But let's just get into the prompts first. The first prompt is design, and for this one I picked The Public Library, a photographic essay, which was edited by Robert Dawson, and this has a bunch of different famous writers, Barbara Kingsolver, Anne Lamott, E.B. White, and it's got a afterword by Ann Patchett, and they has beautiful pictures of libraries, public libraries, and then there's also little essays with each detailing a specific library that meant a lot to the author. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to have lots of beautiful library design pictures in here. So I think it goes with the prompt very well. The next prompt is sport. And for this one, I picked H is for Hawk by Helen MacDonald. And I picked this one because I figured hockey is kind of a sport. This is the only book on my TBR that even remotely sounded like it had to do anything with the sport. But I've been wanting to read this for a long time because it's such a booktube darling. I mean, I know Olive really enjoyed it when she read it. And this is her Helen MacDonald's memoir about how she started training a goshawk after her father passed away, and then it also discusses the author of The One and Future King, T.S. White, and his interest in hawking. So I'm really looking forward to this one, and hopefully it'll have some dramatic passages of her learning how to do the hawking exercises. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. The next prompt is truth, and for this one I'm going to read The Man Who Loved Books Too Much, the true story of a thief, a detective, and a world of literary obsession by Allison Hoover Bartlett. And this is about a man named John Charles Gilkey, and he really loved books, and so he started stealing rare books. And then there was another man, Ken Sanders, who also loved books and was equally passionate about getting these books back from Gilkey. And so it's about these 2 men and their lives, and the how their lives intertwined with this crime spree that Gilkey was on. And it sounds really interesting, and this is a book that's been on my TBR since 2015, so I'm really excited to finally get around to reading it. The last nonfiction November prompt is voice, and for this one, what immediately came to my mind is a memoir, and so I decided to pick up Cherry by Mary Karr. And Mary Karr is the author of The Liars Club, which I read a few years ago, and The Liars Club is about her childhood and the abuse she suffered, and this one is supposed to be about her college years and her sexual awakening when she was a young woman. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting. The Liars Club was pretty interesting, and I'm looking forward to reading it, although it's probably going to have some graphic details just like The Liars Club did. But yeah, and it's also pretty short, so I'm hoping it'll be, a fairly quick read, so I can get through a lot of books, because I have 9 books on my TBR for the month, which is a lot for me. I did have some books that I want to read, some nonfiction books that I want to read that aren't going to specifically be related to the prompt. The first of these is A Midwife's Tale, The Life of Martha Ballard, based on her diary, 1785 to 1812, which is written by Laurel, Thatcher, Ulrich. And this is actually a book I started earlier in the year, but then I took it on a trip with me, and I was not interested in reading such a heavy book when I was on vacation, so I put it down, and then I just never picked it up. But again, so I think I'm going to restart it over and then hopefully finish it in November. And it sounds really cool. Martha Ballard was a midwife that lived in Maine, and it's detailing her very lengthy diary. She covered a long time, and she recorded her experiences with birth and in her day-to-day life and her interactions with physicians in her town. And it sounds really interesting, and I really enjoyed it when I started it, so I think I'll really enjoy finishing it as well. I also want to read another nonfiction book that I don't have yet, which is Abraham, The Journey to the Heart of Three Faiths by Bruce Feiler, and I'll put a picture right here. And it's a interfaith perspective on the biblical figure of Abraham. My church is hosting a interfaith book club this in November, and so I want to read, and this is the book for it. So I want to read the book and then hopefully go to the meeting. I don't know much about it except that it's supposed to be looking at the story of Abraham from a Christian, Muslim, and Jewish perspective. So I'm looking forward to that, and I think it's going to be a really interesting read. I then have 3 fiction books that I'd like to read in the month. The first of those being my Willa Cather of the month, which is Lucy Gayheart. I don't know anything about this except that Willa Cather wrote it, and it's the 11th book that she wrote, so it's very fitting for the 11th month of the year for my Willa Cather read-through. I'm really enjoying my read-through, so I'm looking forward to getting on with Lucy Gayheart. It's one of those books you never hear about because it's not not very well known, and it's not one of her more popular works. But I'm looking forward to getting to it. I then want to read my book club book for the month, which is Muse Dissed by Erick, Setiawan, and I'll put it right here for you. I have ordered it through Interlibrary Loan, but it hasn't come yet. And this is about this is a multi-generational story. It follows 3 different women, and they apparently have some kind of magical powers, and they interact with demons. And I don't know much about it. The hostess of the book club next month picked the book because that's how we pick books in our club. And this is what she wanted to read. We read a paranormal romance last month, and that wasn't really my bag, but I'm hoping that this will be more up my street because it sounds like it's a literary fiction with some, magical elements thrown in. But it sounds pretty interesting, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And then the last book that I'd like to read in November is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. This is, as y'all probably know, a booktube darling and a real life darling. The reason I have this book is because my mom went out and bought herself her own copy because of the hype, and she's been loaning it out to people, and it's finally my turn to get the book, so I'm looking forward to it. I don't know much about this. I think it's like a murder mystery set in the South, and then there's like flashbacks or something. I'm really, considering how hyped it is, I really don't know what's going on with it, but it sounds pretty good based on the hype, and my mom really liked it, and everybody that's read it seems to like it. It's been on the New York Times bestseller list for like almost a year, or maybe more than a year now, so yeah, looking forward to this one. And that's all I'm going to be reading in November. That's 9 books for the month, and I only need to read 7 to complete my goal. I need to read 7 in November and 7 in December to complete my goal for the year. So my plan is to read 7 of these books in November, and then the 2 that I don't get to, I'm going to push into December or even into January 2020 if need be. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the rest of the month and seeing what everybody else is reading and seeing everybody's, reads and Friday reads during the month. I love Nonfiction November because it's like the one time of the year where everybody's reading nonfiction, just like I read nonfiction year round. And I hope everybody's having a great day and you're reading some great nonfiction books. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye!